certainly my neighbors were very welcoming. In fact, the amazing thing is our house needed a lot of work on it. It was the original wallpaper, and I remember a group of neighbors who didn't know us at all came in and helped us strip off 3 layers of wallpaper so there would be at least one room that wasn't quite as dilapidated. When we were first coming to the school system, though, it was, and before I started teaching, it was a little daunting because it at times it seemed that, there were people who had established relationships, and so it took a little bit to get into those various groups. But, sports activities and things like that at times sometimes seemed a little difficult at times getting started. But once we made the effort to meet people, people were very accommodating.
Well, because I lived in the Cliff Columbine neighborhood, I was very welcomed into the community. The first day I moved in, 2 of my neighbors stopped by, one with a cake, so it was very much like a welcome wagon. 12 years ago, and I'm not sure who it was, maybe it was one of the organizations in town, they also did like a welcome to Milton package, and so I got that, and so I felt very much embraced by it.
Certain times when I would go out just to go shopping to the Milton Food Market or different areas outside of where I lived at near Blue Hill Ave in different sections of Milton, there would be a sort of a stiffness. It was kind of hard to describe. No one actually said anything to me about it, but it was a sense of weirdness when I came into a room and I was the only black person there, or I was in a supermarket. I would get certain looks and things like that. So,
Again, we're talking 25 years, but I think Milton, back in 1980 or the mid-'80s, the town was struggling with change, and I think the town still struggles with change. But I think that organizations like No Place for Hate and the event that we're here participating in today does a lot to sort of teach people about diversity and teach people about change. And I think America in general has a long way to go, and Milton is no different than the broader community that we live in.
There was a ghetto in town, and there were powers that tried to enforce that ghetto, if not within the town, and I'm not clear on that because I was 9-10 years old. Certainly real estate firms did.
When I first came here in 1988, it was illegal to have signs on your lawn. You couldn't have political signs. You couldn't even have a house for rent or a house for sale signs. And it was understood, and there was a debate, and a pretty fierce debate in town meeting about changing the bylaws, the zoning bylaws in town, because it was a way to essentially racially segregate the town or steer people of color who might want to look for a house in town. They wouldn't be able to know which houses were for sale. So that took some fight, but that's an example, I think, where the majority understood that had to change, and it did.
if there's a group of black boys, sometimes there's a kind of a strange reaction to the group of black boys, regardless of what they're doing. That's different than if there's a group of white boys around.
I mean, it seems kind of segregated between East and West Milton. I mean, any high school that you can go into, you can walk through the cafeteria and you can see like a majority of one race in this at this table, another this table. I don't know, maybe that's just how it plays out a lot of the time. But I think there should be some kind of like mixing up of groups, if possible, within the school.
The understanding is that when this first started, Celebrate Milton first started, the goal, yes, was to bring people together, but you didn't have the diversity that we are seeing now. So from that perspective, I would have to say that the event is a success.
I don't know, as I look at some of the sports teams, it seems to be a little dominated by the white population, but I think that's changing, and I believe it's incumbent on us parents to get more involved, not just say that there's an issue.
I think the black community within Milton needs to really be involved all the time. So if you're a black parent, you need to be involved in the school system. You need to have a lot of face time with teachers and principals and other people so they can see you as a human being and see your child as a human being.
I'd love to see more accent on, when they do celebrate Milton, they always talk about diversity, which is excellent, but I'd like to see also some more about unity, how much more we're the same than different. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that emphasized, because that basically everybody is the same. And, so that's what I'd like to see, a little more emphasis on that aspect. That's what my recommendation would be.
This has been a tradition, and it's fabulous, and I think, instead of having Celebrate Milton just once a year, then maybe we could do some other very similar activities year-round.
I think people in general just have to open up their minds and accept everyone for who they are. As I try to teach my kids, don't worry about what somebody looks like, or if they're black, white, green, or blue, or if they're in a wheelchair. Or, as long as they're good to you, be good back to them.
I think there's always more that can be done in the community to raise awareness about diversity and the importance of working together. I think Celebrate Milton is a wonderful opportunity. I'd like to see more events like this happening throughout the year rather than just once a year. I'm appreciative of the work other groups have done in the schools, Milton Citizens for a Diverse Community and Milton No Place for Hate. I think there can be more work done all the time, and I'd just like to see the town have this the reputation of being the welcoming place that I think it is becoming. But we have to work to transform that.
I think it's wonderful. I think Milton is becoming more of a mirror of what the real world is and will soon become. And I think it's a wonderful thing. There was an article in the Globe maybe 3 or 4 years ago that said that minority families were looking at Milton and Randolph as a place where they would want to move and feel comfortable moving and being with their families. And I think that's a really positive thing. Our own particular neighborhood has become more diverse, which I think is a good thing. And I think it's all for the better.
I think that there's been a lot of, or at least I've just noticed, various cultures. It's becoming a little bit more international. I think that when property's turning over, people from other cultures and cities are moving rather than just having, generations follow and buy the property. It's going to people from other countries and other neighborhoods, and it's really kind of exciting. I think a lot of gay folks have moved into town, a lot of people of color I've noticed. So, that may just be my perception. It may be wrong, but I've noticed it.
Absolutely. Milton is ready for diversity. I think they've embraced it already.
So we still have some work to do, but we've come so far that I am filled with hope that we'll come the rest of the way.
Open to diversity, definitely sometime soon. I mean, it's something that needs to be changed, and it's something that, most people in the town would know that it's not completely diverse in both sides of the town.
It makes sense for the community to try to pull together and to be a welcoming community, because the people are changing. The population in Milton is changing. We are seeing a more mixed or diverse group of residents moving into the community. So communities from, 20, 25 years ago, where it was all, one color, one belief, one culture, that has gone by the wayside. So it's in the best interest of the community to work together to be inclusive of the people who are moving in. If the community still prosper and grow, then that needs to happen.